I want to start with a reminder, which is that we were told this Iran war would be 2 to 3 weeks. It's now been 5 months. We are in week 22. And Donald Trump's own administration is openly preparing Americans to be ready. The war could be starting to be in the range of years. Forget about weeks, but not even months, years. And it could kill even more American troops. Remember that this is the peace president, the self-proclaimed peace president, the proclaimed by Tulsi Gabbard peace president. And he criticized exactly these types of open-ended forever wars. He said only stupid presidents get us into this crap. Well, Kristen Welker on NBC confronted Trump's ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, with a very simple question, which was, Trump said this would last weeks. It's been 5 months. Will it at least be over by the end of the year? Well, take a look at this.
Iran right now.
Mr. Ambassador, a lot of people are very interested in the timeline of this because President Trump had initially said that this conflict would last for a matter of weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. He said we are now at the 5-month mark. Will this war be over by the new year?
Well,
listen to whether there's a yes or a no here.
first, this war has been going on for 47 years.
Incorrect. The regime has been in power 47 years, but the United States has not been at war with Iran for that period of time. Not to mention, we were obviously not at war with Iran while the Obama-Iran nuclear deal was in place. So he's starting, it's a yes or no question. He starts with a lie that is neither a yes nor a no.
These attacks on Americans,
not in this,
of course, not necessarily this intensity, but at some level, Iran has been at war with the United States. Heck, I was just.
So the question was, is it conceivable? Is it possible that this might not be over by the end of 2026? And Waltz certainly doesn't disabuse Kristen Welker of that notion. Now, notice the scam that Mike Waltz is running here. The question was about Trump's war, the military conflict that Trump chose to launch on February 28th, after repeatedly promising Americans there are not going to be, we're going to get out of wars and certainly not going to get into any new ones. Waltz's answer is, well, there have been tensions with Iran for 47 years. Now, by that logic, the administration could keep this war going forever and go, this was a 47-year-old war. Trump was just president for a little bit. Trump has nothing to do with it. And of course, we all recognize how absurd and completely deranged that is. Now, Kristen Welker continued to press him and said, can Americans expect Trump's war to be over by the end of the year? Let's listen to his next answer.
Position of strength.
But very quickly, do you anticipate this conflict will be concluded by the new year?
Oh, I'm not going to put some kind of timeline on it. The president has all options on the table, and he is exercising both diplomatic, economic, and military to achieve a very clear strategic aim. And that's what's different. The wars of my generation, we had policy drift. Here, the president is very focused.
This was an
Art, I hope people are realizing what's going on here. There is no timeline. There's no definition of a victory. There's no, forget about an exit strategy. It's all options are on the table. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on timeline. These are all Washington phrases that are used when they want maximum freedom to keep escalating and escalating, but never telling you what they are actually planning. Now, remember how this was sold. We would have decisive action. For a few weeks, America would win. Everybody's weak, everybody's incompetent, but Trump is strong, and he knows how to impose peace through strength. We had weeks, they become months. We supposedly won it, 60 times by now? And the end of the year may not even be the end of this thing, and the administration officials are refusing to tell Americans whether it could continue for years. The fact that they aren't saying, of course it's not going to last years, tells us everything we need to know. Now then Kristen Welker gets maybe to the darkest question of all, which is, should Americans prepare for more American service members to die? And it is another refusal, and an incredibly cold one.
This was an incredibly somber week, as you know, for the country. 4 U.S. service members were killed in Iranian attacks. President Trump, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, others attended the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base on Wednesday. Should the country brace for more American lives to be lost in this conflict, Mr. Ambassador?
Every man and woman who signs up, as I have and so many others, to go serve knows of that eventual possibility. And my heart breaks for those families receiving the worst news of
you seem heartbroken.
Their lives, as does the president, all the way down the chain of command. Where I am thankful as a veteran is that we finally have a president who has said enough is enough. The Iranian regime has killed thousands of American soldiers, has threatened our neighbors, has threatened the region and threatened the United States, and no more. And if they are willing to do this, if they were willing to build a massive conventional shield, which is what they were trying to do, you mentioned the issue of munitions and interceptors. Imagine if the president had...
All right. The question was, are more soldiers going to die because of Donald Trump's optional war? And the answer was, everybody knows when they sign up that they might get killed. That's the answer. Now, I hope, if military recruiters are being honest, I hope that it is true that members of the military understand that there are risks to serving. But that doesn't give presidents permission to send them into pointless wars with no timeline, no clearly defined objective, no explanation of when do we get to come home? When is it over? The troops accept the risk of defending the country, but that doesn't mean you give Donald Trump a blank check to gamble with their lives because he promised a quick war and has no plan for what to do now. This is how forever wars happen, by the way. The original promise disappears. Do we even remember why we got into, they will never have a nuclear weapon? And they kind of didn't because we destroyed it over the summer, but then they did, and so we had to go back. The objective keeps changing, and they stop talking. Notice how we're not getting any more, well, we think it's going to go 26 weeks. That discussion is gone. Every new death becomes a justification for more escalation. They got some of our people. Now we're really going to go after them. So Trump didn't end endless wars. He may have created a new one. And his administration is now telling us as clearly as they can, without just saying it out loud, there is no end in sight. There is no end in sight. There should be political consequences for this. And this, by the way, happening as global horror spreads over the authoritarian collapse that Donald Trump had this weekend. We must address that right now. Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.